This video tutorial is to help those that need to use reports to manage their league. This is just a couple of tips and hints how to get the most out of these reports. Now, basically, first you have to go to the Reports tab, and when you get there, you'll see a bunch of canned reports that the system already has. A lot of these reports can be useful, but I found out that some of these reports either have too much information or aren't exactly what I'm looking for, but they're close. And so that's the key, is that if there's a report that's close, you can always modify it to meet your needs. So for example, I wanted to create a report that was just of all the allocated coaches, assistant coaches, and head coaches and assistant coaches. Volunteer details, if you go into it, just have all the different volunteer positions. The key here is you can go in and edit these reports, and I'm only going to show you the edit side right now. And when you look at the volunteer details, you can see what all the different fields are that they're collecting, like the first name, last name, street address, and so on. What order they're sorting them on, so it's being sorted by program name, which is usually not relevant as much unless you have multiple programs, which you can if you've got an extra program and so on. But you can also filter down to a specific program, and this is the field, but this is where you sort. Down here they have field conditions. Usually the starting point for field conditions are good, but for example, I'm going to show you the report that I've already saved. If you want to reduce these down to only specific subsets, for example, if you just want assistant coaches and head coaches, you can modify these field conditions. So let's go back to the reports and then click on Saved Reports. I could show you one that I've saved. Now on the last screen I went in and basically said edit, and if you'll see here I've got allocated coach and assistant coach. Now this report was basically generated off of that all volunteers, but what you'll see here is I've reduced the number of fields that I really need. Basically you just right click on these arrows and you could move them around or delete them. You can do the same thing with field order. You can either move them around, you can take them out, and so on. If you want a field here to be sorted on, just go ahead and click sorting, select what you want, and it pops it over to the right side. We also see here is what I have selected under field conditions. I've added a couple. One is I've added the volunteer type. Volunteer description contains coach, because our description contains assistant coach as the title and then head coach. And then team name is not equal to unallocated. Now you may ask, how did I figure that out? Well, basically use the reports that already exist and look into those columns to see what is being populated. For example, I noticed that unallocated was showing for those areas for the team name that when someone was not allocated to any team. So I put that as team name is not equal to unallocated, and then basically saved off this report. You come up here and you can add the name when it's the first time you're doing this and click save, or if you made a change to an existing report, you can save it so that it'll save over the existing name. And that's all there is to it. So you can generate several different reports, customize it to what you're specifically looking for to be a bit more useful to you. Hope this helps.